Hi, so if you're following the reInvent 2025 announcement, you might heard about AWS Regional NAT Gateway. So in this video, let's talk about what this Regional NAT Gateway is, and then let's do an exercise to launch this Regional NAT Gateway. So for those who do not know what are NAT gateways basically allows the outbound internet connection to the instances in the private subnet. And traditionally, the scope of the NAT gateway is AZ level, which means for high availability of these NAT gateways, you need to launch these NAT gateways in multiple AZs, which definitely adds some manual overhead. Further, in order to launch this NAT gateway, you need to have your own public subnet, and you have to also configure the route for that subnet so that traffic can go from the NAT gateway to the internet gateway. So your VPC setup will look something like this, where the private subnet has the outbound internet connection for IPv4 addresses through the NAT gateway, and NAT gateway subnet route table will have this route table entry to take the traffic out to the internet through the internet gateway. So that's a traditional NAT gateway. Now, this NAT gateway is only in one AZ, and which means if this NAT gateway goes down, your application servers will not be able to access the internet. And that's where it is recommended to launch another NAT gateway in another AZ, which is obviously extra work for you. And that's where AWS has now launched Regional NAT Gateway. And as the name suggests, it works at the VPC level and it can span across multiple availability zone. And when you create this Regional NAT Gateway, you have option to either automatically expand it to additional AZs. So depending on in which AZ you have your workload, this NAT gateway will automatically expand into that AZ. However, if you need more control and if you want to configure in which all AZs this NAT gateway should be present, then you can also configure the manual mode for this Regional NAT Gateway, where you can specify, I want this NAT gateway in these specific AZs. Now, few additional things that you should know about the Regional NAT Gateway is that because it is in multiple AZs, it tries to maintain the zonal affinity, which means traffic from a particular, say, application server in AZ1 will be routed through the NAT gateway in that AZ only, so that there is no inter-AZ data transfer charge. Further, because now it is fully managed service, you don't need to create the public subnet for this Regional NAT Gateway. AWS will manage it for you. Further, there will also be a route table which will be automatically created for this Regional NAT Gateway. So this means for the end user, we just need to configure the private subnet route tables and route the internet bound traffic through the Regional NAT Gateway. Alright, with that, I think we are ready to do an exercise for the Regional NAT Gateway. Now, before we move forward, just know that this video is part of my course VPC and AWS Networking, which is available on Udemy. And if you use this link or scan this QR code, then you can get this course at very low prices. So feel free to enroll into the course if you are interested in learning more about AWS VPC and networking by doing lots of hands-on exercises. Alright, now going back to our discussion. So our architecture for this exercise will be something like this. So we will have two private subnet in which we will have sample two application servers, and then we will create a Regional NAT Gateway and we'll update the route table so that traffic from this private subnet to the internet goes through this Regional NAT Gateway. Now, while we do this setup, there is one small problem. Because these instances will be in the private subnet, we cannot directly connect to them and then can check the outbound connectivity from these instances. So typically for that, we need to have a bastion host in the public subnet, and then from our machine, we can SSH into that bastion host, and from there we can further SSH into the app server, which is again a lot of manual work. So instead, AWS has a shortcut to directly log into the private EC2 instances, and that is using the EC2 instance endpoint. Now, to launch that endpoint, we need to have one additional subnet, and then we can just use the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to this private EC2 instance using the AWS console itself. For that, we don't really need to use a putty or any of the SSH client. So in order to reach to this EC2 instances in a private subnet, we will use this EC2 instance connect endpoint. And once we are there, then we will create a regional NAT gateway and then we'll test the outbound internet connectivity to the internet. So for this exercise, this is the target architecture that we want to create. And if you are also doing this exercise, then just by looking at this architecture diagram, you should be able to set up everything. So now let me go to AWS console and create this setup. Alright, so I'm into the VPC console in the Mumbai region, as you can see. So the first thing, let's create a new VPC. So let's call it a demo VPC and let's give some CIDR range, for example, 10.10.0.0/16. Now rest of the settings we are keeping as default and let's create the VPC. Next, we should create the internet gateway because for the NAT gateway to communicate with the internet, it needs this internet gateway. So let's create an internet gateway, and as we create that, we need to also attach this internet gateway to the VPC. So let's attach it to the demo VPC and that's it. Alright, now we have the VPC and the internet gateway, and now we need to create 3 private subnets. And I said 3 because 2 for 2 app servers and 1 for the EC2 instance connect endpoint. Alright, so let's create the subnets, and for that let's select the VPC that we created. So the first subnet, now this is for the EC2 endpoint. So let's call it EC2 endpoint private, and we can create it in one of the AZ. So let's select first AZ and the CIDR range should be the first base address with /24 prefix. Alright, let's add additional subnets. So this is second. So let's call it app private 1, and this will also be in the first AZ, and now the CIDR range will be 1.0/24. Now let's add one more and let's call it app private 2 in the AZ number 2, and the CIDR range will be 10.10.2.0/24. Alright, so these are all 3 subnets. So let's just create those. Okay, so subnet has been created, and now we need to also create a root table specially for these app server subnets, because later we want to modify this root table. So let's create a root table for those 2 private subnets. So let's say create root table. So let's say app private root table in the demo VPC, and let's create that. Now here there will be default rule. This is what we want. And here we need to make sure that we associate this root table with those 2 app server private subnets. So let's edit this setting and let's just select these 2 subnets and save the association. Alright, so the root tables have been created. And now before we create the regional NAT gateway, first let's create this EC2 instance connect endpoint so that we can log into one of the app server. So for that, again, let's go to the VPC console, and for EC2 instance connect, we have to just go to the endpoints and create an endpoint. So let's call it EC2 instance connect, and here we have to select this option. Now it will ask for the VPC, so it will be the demo VPC, and it will also have its own security group. Now for the EC2 instance connect, you don't need any inbound rules, and that's where typically you can also assign the default security group to the EC2 instance connect endpoint. So it will work, but it is always good to have our own security group rather than using the default one. So let's just create one more security group for the endpoint. So you can do that either from EC2 console or even from the VPC console. Now I'm going to the EC2 console. So let's create a new security group. So let's call it EC2 instance connect endpoint and allow outbound. So it needs only the outbound rules. So let's select the VPC that we had created, no inbound rule, and outbound rule just should allow all the traffic to anywhere, that is 000/0. Now you can be more restrictive and you can only allow the traffic from the endpoint to the EC2 security group. But As of now, this is good enough. All right, so let's just create this security group and let's go back here. Let's refresh this and associate this security group with the endpoint. All right, now let's select the subnet for this endpoint, and it will be this private subnet that we had created, and the IP address type is IPv4, so we are good there. So let's create the endpoint. All right, so endpoint has been created. So we are good with this setup here. Next, we need to launch these EC2 instances in those two private subnets. So now let's do that. All right, so I'm going to the EC2 console and to the instances, and let's launch our first instance and let's call it app1. Now I'm going with all the default options here. For SSH key pair, I have my key pair already created. And in the network setting, you need to make sure that you are using your VPC, that is demo, and subnet should be the one that you created for first AZ, which was this, which is correct. And we don't need public IP, and we need its own security group. So let's call it app security group. And here for these EC2 instances, we need to allow SSH from either anywhere, or you can be more restrictive and you can only allow it from the security group of EC2 instance connect security group. So I can probably select this, which is more restrictive. But otherwise, if you keep it anywhere, that is also fine. All right, so that's done. So let's just launch the instance. Cool. Similarly, let's launch another instance because we need to have instances across AZs. So let's launch another instance and let's call it app2. Now again here, the SSH key pair, and make sure that you select the right VPC, and in the subnet, we want to launch it in second subnet. Now security group we already have that we had just created for the first application server. So let's use the same. That's it. Let's launch the instance. All right. So it will take maybe a minute for these instances to be fully up and running. So let me pause this video and come back. All right. So instances are running. So let me just pick the first instance and connect to this using the EC2 instance connect endpoint. So for that, we can just go here and say connect using the private IP, and then it will automatically populate the instance connect endpoint. So let's just connect. All right, so I'm into the instance 1, and if I try to do ping google.com, of course, it is not going to work. That's because these instances do not have the outbound internet connectivity. All right, so now let's create the regional NAT gateway and configure the routing. So let's go to the VPC and let's go to the NAT gateways. And now let's create a NAT gateway. So let's call it RNAT, and regional NAT gateway is a new setting as you can see here. So let's select that. Now the VPC will be the demo and connectivity will be the public because that is what it supports. And method of elastic IP allocation. So this is what you can do. Either you can set it automatic, which means if you add a workload into another AZ, then it will automatically expand into that AZ. And this is what we want to do. Otherwise, you can also select the manual setting. All right, so that's it. Now let's create the NAT gateway. Okay, so it will take again maybe a minute for this NAT gateway to be fully created. So let me just pause this video here. All right, so the NAT gateway has been fully created, and important thing to note here is that it created these IP addresses for the NAT gateway only in 2 AZs. Now Mumbai has 3 AZs, but because we launched the application server only in AZ 1A and 1B, it also created the NAT gateway only in those 2 AZs. And which makes sense because otherwise if it would have been created the NAT across all 3 AZs, we would have to pay extra cost per hour. All right, so this is the NAT gateway. And the last thing that we want to do is update the route table for these 2 subnets to route the internet bound traffic through this regional NAT gateway. So now let's do that. Okay, for that, now let's go to the root tables, and we had this app private root table for that. So let's just go to the roots and edit these roots, add the root, and say if the traffic is for the internet, it should go through the NAT gateway. And there we should select our regional NAT gateway. So let's save the changes. Now, as soon as we do that, and if we go here, it should work. And you can see that these instances can now go to the internet. All right, now if you want, you can test the same connectivity from application to instance. So for that, let's use the EC2 instance connect endpoint to connect to this app server. And again from here, if we do ping to google.com, it should work. Right? So that means same NAT gateway is now serving both the AZs. All right, so that was the exercise that we wanted to do. And if you also did this, make sure that you terminate your EC2 instances and also you delete your NAT gateway, because it will have per hour running cost across both the AZs. So let's go to the NAT gateways and delete that. Alright, so that's it about this exercise, and I hope you loved it. So thanks for watching.